This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, and good late night if you're tuning in to today's broadcast of the Women's World Hockey Championships gold medal game between the USA and Team Canada. Of course, Canada looking to take home another big gold. We do that often, but we're looking to do it again, this time out against Team USA tonight. Oh, and this is on TSN. I should kind of get everything detailed out for you. TSN is where to watch in Canada. There we go. That'll be a big important thing. We should have figured that out a few minutes ago, but my bad. As we'll pin this one up. I'm sure there will be some illegal live streams and stuff for everybody to watch too at some point. But my friends, welcome aboard. This is, of course, if you're tuning in for the regular Edmonton Oilers stuff that we do here on Dolynny TV, this is going to be the tester for the playoffs. More or less work out all the kinks and see what ends up happening here as we get set for, obviously, the big broadcast tomorrow between the Oilers and Kings. So that's where we're sitting going into tonight's action as we get between Canada and the USA for a big-time gold medal matchup to begin things here. It sounds like, yeah, Canada has dominated pretty well at this tournament so far. We'll get the full story here, obviously, once we get underway in a matter of moments. But you know what? Give me a second. I'm going to go upstairs, take a second to run and grab something, because we have something we should be wearing. You know, I'm sitting down here thinking, hey, I got everything, bases covered, everything's good to go. No, we don't. We've got something we got to throw on. Obviously, this is a Hockey Canada stream, which means we better throw together a proper Hockey Canada stream and get the jersey on and look like a true, proper hockey watching Canadian here tonight for the Canadian women against the American women for a gold medal. Let me just do this up. There we go. The right jersey on. We are good to rock and roll. I know I don't wear jerseys very often for live streams, but when it's Canada playing, we might as well for this one. We are about 35 minutes away from puck drop here this afternoon, my friends. So like I said, this is a get everything out of the way live stream, get everything ready to rock and roll. Obviously a big event too, so something we can probably get Dolynny TV on the stage for a little bit here before we get to the NHL playoffs. But we should be ready to obviously crush the NHL playoffs. It should be a very fun weekend here to wrap up you doing the Women's World Championship gold medal final. And then Monday night comes around and we absolutely come out flying for the Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. It's going to be a good one. But before then, of course, Canada has to try and take home a gold medal at the Women's Worlds. I believe it's somewhere in Ontario that they're hosting this tournament this year. I've heard that. I've been very terrible at keeping up, obviously, the focus fully heavily on the Edmonton Oilers here over the past few weeks as we marched our way to the playoffs. But it'll be nice to sit back and enjoy a national pride game. Our women going to battle against the Americans to try and win another gold medal here tonight. And America wearing the blue with the red stripe and the white numbers, and us out there in our whites, of course, as well. So that's fantastic to see for Canada. Obviously the white jersey with the red maple leaves and the gold across the maple leaf on the chest tonight, because that is obviously the way we've had our jerseys for a little while now, and it's something we're very proud of, our new jerseys we've been rocking for a while. So we've got a couple of high-scoring Canadians so far this game. Sarah Fillier, I believe is how you say it. Honestly, again, I don't get to watch the women very much, but we'll try and not butcher too many names today. 11 points for her in the games so far this tournament. Led Canada in 2022 with points then. So interesting to note how this one will all break down tonight. Obviously a big time test for us, the Americans. It is Canada and the USA that dominate women's hockey at this point still, and obviously they've been battling it out here, especially over the past several years, going in those rivalry series or whatever they're called there. I know there's been a lot of big games here between Canada and the USA over the past several years here, and I mean another one here at the Women's World Championship tonight. So Northern Farm Girl, welcome in. It is going to hopefully be a great game, a beauty of a game, as you say. It should be a big one for Canada, should be a big one for the USA. Obviously, like I said, these are the two best teams out there in women's hockey in the world, so we'll see if they can, again, rock through and bring home another classic. And the best part about these games between these two teams is they always seem to end in some kind of craziness. You can go back as far as you want across the history between these two teams, it seems, at this point, and it is just an instant classic every time these two teams meet. So we'll see what comes of it here this afternoon. Marie-Philippe Poulin scored the gold medal winning overtime goal versus the United States in the 2021 tournament. Like I said, that's just further proof to the pudding about what I was just saying a moment ago, right? That is the kind of games we get here between these two teams. They've got Poulin on the bench right now doing an interview as we get set for this one. We are about half an hour away from puck drop, my friends, so we are closing in. Obviously started the stream up. I just couldn't wait to get going, and I mean, that's how much I'm itching to get to the playoffs as well. I am really excited to see us get into the Edmonton Oilers playoff run here against the LA Kings, and a nice little tester stream today will be definitely a huge help in that, I do believe. At least that's what I'm hoping for. We'll see if that rings true. I'm just trying to get the lineups here, and I just can't seem to find the lineups, unfortunately, as it just won't let me open up the box score as of yet on the over on TSN's website. So we'll see what we can get when we can get it, kind of deal. But for Canada and the USA, it'll be an interesting matchup too, just to kind of see these two teams for the first time in this tournament. For me, like I said, a little bit stuck watching the Oilers all spring so far, so we'll see what comes of it. And two can play this game. Hillary Knight at the World Championships in her career, 57 goals, 40 assists, and 97 points in 72 games played. I couldn't figure out what that sound was. That's the dishwasher running up upstairs. That's my bad, as I was like, that sounds kind of like crackling TV, but it's running water. As we've got exactly 30 minutes remaining until puck drop now, friends. We should be just about ready for this one to get going here in a matter of moments. I'm going to run upstairs quickly. If you haven't had a chance yet to hit that like button, I would encourage you to do as such. And I'm going to run upstairs, grab some water, and I'll be right back. Alright, water has been grabbed. We should be ready to rock here now into the rest of the pregame as we get going here. As, yeah, this is going to be the gold medal game between Canada and the USA at the Women's World Championships, live from Brampton. So it's Brampton, Ontario is where we're at. I knew it was somewhere that started with a B, but I didn't want to be wrong and say something like Belleville or something. So Brampton, Ontario, the stands looking like they're filling up pretty big time here for Team Canada and Team USA, so that's nice to see, as well as we are just a few minutes away from puck drop at this point. It's 4:40. We are just less than half an hour away, as we've got fans in the stands, everybody excited to get this one going here in a matter of moments, my friends. If there's anything you want to ask, anything you want to tell me about, if you've been watching the Women's World Championship so far, definitely let me know. Throw it in the chat there, and I can definitely talk things up for you. as we're just waiting for things to get underway here this afternoon between Canada and Team USA. So that is where we're at again as well. If you're tuning in from regular coverage of the Edmonton Oilers, don't you fret. We'll have regular coverage tomorrow, starting with the playoffs. That's one big thing I want to talk about is the Edmonton Oilers playoffs. It is going to be an absolute wild ride tomorrow. And somehow, some way, I've got to cramp in about 6 hours of good night's sleep because it's going to be needed. So we'll see if that ends up coming true. But right now, as it stands, it'll be a big time get into the playoffs for the Oilers. But tonight, first, we start off with just a big time game between Canada and the USA. A great game to get onto a big stage and talk about some great hockey, and obviously to watch some great hockey and test out to see if we're going to even be able to call great hockey here this spring on Dolynny TV. As this is a good kind of trial run right before things get underway tomorrow for the Oilers in the NHL playoffs, so we're excited for that. As we are just waiting for this one to obviously get underway. If you're tuning in, I mean, I really don't got much. The TSN website's not really giving me much about this tournament so far, so let me see if I can hit back on that and see if we can't find this here. As we're going to go hit the backspace button and see if there's anything, as it has watched live. Of course, it has the watch live, but it doesn't give me much else to talk about. Czechia 1-3-2 over top of Switzerland to win the bronze medal at the Women's Worlds, so that's where you're at. And Utica will host the 2024 IIHF Women's Worlds tournament, so that's what you need to know as well. Utica and New York will host the Women's Worlds in 2024, but as it is right now, we have between Canada and the US the final from Brampton, Ontario first off, to see what we can do here for both these teams. Canada trying to win themselves another gold medal. It feels like every year the women win the gold medal, and obviously I'd love to see another one won tonight for Team Canada. That is for sure. So as we're getting going here, friends, we'll see if we can't get to this hockey game as fast as humanly possible. I didn't expect to start the stream this early, but I just kind of couldn't wait any longer, so definitely definitely couldn't wait any longer to get something this big up and running, so my apologies if it's a little bit scrambled up to start. I'm just looking forward to some good hockey and getting things started, and obviously too, TSN's playing a whole bunch of the highlights from across the tournament here so far for both teams, scoring goals, putting things home, and obviously having a good tournament is Team USA as well. Terry, Utica is a prison town like Kingston. Well, I don't know much about Utica, New York, but definitely not on my bucket list to go to, unfortunately, as I don't think there's much in Utica in terms of anything I need to go check out, that is for sure. And Terry, welcome in, as we are just about 24.5 minutes away now from puck drop between Canada and the USA here in the Women's World Championship. We're hopefully going to get things off and running with a big start for Team Canada, and obviously the USA too looking to do the exact same thing, so we'll see what comes of it for both sides. But either way, I expect good hockey, that's for sure. So let me see here if there's anything else we've missed so far on the back end of the stream just quickly. Let's just quickly see here. David, well, let's go Canada. I can agree with that sentiment. The first chant for the first single line chant for a team comes in and let's go Canada. I don't mind that at all when it comes in, let's go Canada. That's a huge get. David, welcome into the stream as we are getting closer to puck drop here. Just about time to get things up and underway. Now, of course, Snapchats are coming in. That seems to be the way it always goes. But there we go. We should be ready to rock and roll here in the next little bit. And David's going, let's go Oilers as well. This guy's got it figured out. As we are just about ready to rock and roll between these two teams. Of course, Snapchat's coming in fast here. And let's see if there's anything see if there's anything else we can do. And Stoney, welcome in. This is going to be the nice part. A little national pride right before the Oilers kickstart their playoff run. Don't mind me. I don't mind getting into a big-time national hockey game. I mean, I love when our country goes out there and gets into the gold medal games. So hopefully to see the Edmonton Oilers have a good playoff run, but as well right now, right here, start off that playoff run by having the Canadian women win a gold medal. That would not be a bad situation at all. I could definitely get behind that. So just as we're adding things up here, I just want to quickly check things over one last time. As and we are already crushing up and live. We're already 2.25 hours streamed into this live stream. Thank you to everybody tuning in. As Selena's, you just popped in to say hi. See you tomorrow. Well, I'll see you again. If you're just tuning in for a little brief moment just to say hi today, I appreciate that, because I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a fantastic time as the Oilers get underway. Like I said, this live stream meant more so just to get all the Kings for tomorrow when the Oilers get underway against the Kings, and of course enjoy a little national pride as the Canadian women try to take home another international championship at the Women's Worlds for the IIHF this year in 2023. So we'll see what comes of it. Obviously still 60 minutes to decide things, and we're still about 20 minutes away from puck drop, but we're getting closer by the minute, that is for sure. So we will be almost there. Of course, I'll schedule one last run upstairs before we get things rolling, but we should be pretty close to getting going here in no time at all. The chat coming alive a little bit here, but again, friends, it's Canada, it's the USA, it's the gold medal game, and we all know, generally speaking, how these games have played out over the past several years. Absolute classics anytime this team or these two teams get together, and so far so good this tournament from both teams. So we'll see if that indeed ends up playing out to the exact same thing for Canada and the USA this year. But I would love to see both teams have an absolutely unreal game, and obviously hopefully get that gold medal coming back to Canada tonight, as Austin's saying let's go Canada as well. We are just settling in here for this live stream this afternoon. We've got 20 minutes until puck drop between Canada and the USA, so sit tight. We will get there in a matter of minutes. Do not worry about it, but I will just continue to yammer on about nothing until we get there, more or less, as it's been already a pretty interesting news day for the Oilers. They signed Cam Dineen to a one-year deal for next season, $775K cap hit, so that's what you need to know there as well. The Oilers doing a little bit of off-season work right before the playoffs get underway, signing Cam Dineen and making sure their roster is ready to rock in Bakersfield next season. Sounds like he will be recalled to the Oilers roster at the same rate once the Condors are out of the playoffs, if the Condors indeed end up out of the playoffs before the Edmonton Oilers. That would be the ideal, to see the Condors win the Calder and see the Oilers win the Stanley, but I guess we'll have to wait a few more months to decide if that happens or not. And obviously too, Canada now just needing to win a gold medal game. I'm seeing a lot of jerseys like mine in the stands tonight, and of course some of the new jerseys as well. As it's going to be a good game between Canada and the USA to wrap it all up from Brampton, Ontario at long last, as they've had a pretty big tournament so far there in Brampton. Obviously everything I've seen between the Canadian women and the American women has been good hockey so far, so both teams dominating, looking to take it home in this gold medal game. We'll see if Canada can indeed do it. I feel like we've got a pretty good shot to do it, but hopefully we do it and we get it done, and that would be just perfect as we get going into this Edmonton Oilers playoff run. Still waiting for this TSN website to open up the lineups and stuff for me, but so far nothing as of yet. I gotta hit pause on that because that's just gonna eat up the old internet as much as it possibly can, and I don't think there's anything else to really add as of yet, friends, as we continue along with the waiting game before we get into tonight's hockey game. Austin, I'm good. I'm having a pretty good night so far, as it's been a pretty fantastic weekend of just sitting back, relaxing, and not having to stress too much about the Oilers. All the big stuff starts tomorrow, and obviously the big show starts tomorrow, which is what we're going to have to really worry about is how the Oilers do in Game 1 tomorrow night. But that's why we're doing this, right? This is why we're doing this Canada women's game, is because we want to try and make sure everything is good and ready to go for tomorrow against the LA Kings. So we'll wait puck drop here in a matter of about 15 minutes now. So we're closing in, getting there. As David, what's in my Yeti? Just quite simply some water. That's what I find keeps my voice well rested throughout the live streams. It's just a whole bunch of water, and try to suck it back as much as possible, because I know at the same rate too, being live on camera is a good excuse to get as much water as humanly possible into my body, because I do not do a good enough job with that to begin with. And Austin, that's good to hear that you're doing good. And Scotty, is the game just on TSN or is it free on any other channels? It is just on TSN, Scotty, that's it. As that's what I've got pinned at the top of the chat there for everybody, in case you're wondering where it's available. Is TSN is where to watch in Canada. And Scotty, thank you. We will catch you tomorrow as the Oilers get ready to rock and roll for the Stanley Cup playoffs tomorrow. As this one will get going here in a matter of moments, I'm sure, as we continue to close into about 5:08. We have to have both anthems as well, so we've got ourselves a little bit of a wait tonight, and then we'll see what ends up coming from it there. But friends, welcome aboard to Dolynny TV, as we are just getting set for what will be this gold medal game between Team Canada and Team USA tonight. And we'll see who comes away with the gold medal. That's my favorite part about these tournaments, is somebody is crowned the winner, and at the end of the line, it is a pretty big heartbreak for the other team, but it's a definitive answer. One team is the gold, one team is the silver, and that is all there is to it. So that's where we're waiting for things to get underway at this point. So let me see if there's anything else I can find on Twitter about this game here. Hopefully we should be good to get going, as it looks like, of course, Connor McDavid tweet note that he will have Ben Stelter in mind when the Oilers go to war in the playoffs this season, which is making sense. And the top 6 scorers over the last 25 games are all from the Western Conference, 3 from Edmonton, 2 from Colorado, and 1 from Dallas. 51 points, 46 for Draisaitl, 41 for McKinnon, 38 for Robertson, 36 from Rantanen, and 35 from Nugent Hopkins. And as well too, Tony, Bob, and Jack had us primed up for the first round rematch. It's the panel sponsored by Sportsnet over on the Edmonton Oilers social media feeds. And there isn't much else to really mention here, is by the looks of it. Looks like everything is pretty much the exact same way it was a few minutes ago. So we are in for a treat tonight, says TSN, about the captains for the game, Hilary Knight and Marie-Philippe Poulin, and that's where we're going to really get excited here for this one. Is we've got some very high caliber players in the women's program in Canada, and so does the USA, so we'll see what comes out of it here tonight between these two teams. I'm just going to take a brief moment again to double check the back end stuff here. So it looks like things are definitely coming along pretty well. We're at 4:54, so we're about 10-15 minutes away from puck drop, my friends. If you're just joining along waiting for this one to get underway, so am I. Really isn't much to glean from this. They are talking about who has the worst taste in music on the hockey teams right now, as everybody's trying to pick one teammate who has bad taste in music. It's the old TSN game called out. And we are just about ready to get this one underway, as we should be getting ready here soon. As we're going to have the intro to the team right now. Of course, Team Canada represented from all across the country. They're moving too fast for me to really get things going for you, but I'm just trying to familiarize myself with some of the names on the team this year. There's heavy representation from Ontario on the back end and on the forward side as well. The first two forwards I see are from Ontario, so on the third forward it is going to be crazy. And yes, Poulin is absolutely unreal. She's been fantastic for years for Team Canada, and obviously they compared her up against Hillary Knight, who's been an absolutely unreal player for Team USA for years as well. So we'll see which captain outdoes who at this tournament in this 2023 edition. And there are our forward group, and that is done. The intro is over, and we are just about ready to get things underway. So it looks like and Renee Desbain will get the start for Team Canada today. And they've got a couple other players highlighted here. That's what I'm assuming the highlights mean. I guess we'll find out. Rebecca Johnston, Marie-Philippe Poulin, and of course Brianne Jenner are your top line today. Sarah Nurse, Sarah Fillier, and Natalie Spooner on the second line. I couldn't get through the graphic fast enough to cover off everything else we need to know. My apologies there, friends, but realistically all we need to know tonight is it's Team Canada going for gold tonight. They've got the head coach of Team Canada here talking to the TSN reporter right now as we're just waiting to get this one completely up and underway for the 5 o'clock puck drop, which is actually scheduled for 5:08. So we're about 10 minutes or so away from the puck drop right now. So it's Canada USA for gold. Yeah, man, you can't get any more romantic about hockey than that. That is always a good matchup, no matter if it's the women's, men's, juniors. Obviously, too, the U19s, that's a good matchup. The U18s, it's just Canada USA. That's purest form of hockey in all our hearts up here north of the border. So we'll see what ends up coming from it this evening between these two teams. That is it, as we've got Poulin is the GOAT sign here, and it looks like there are a whole ton of signs at the Women's Worlds here in Brampton, and a whole bunch of folks happy about getting a puck in the stands, as we should be just about ready for puck drop here, friends. I'm going to take a second to step away one more time, run upstairs, refill my water cup, take a bio break, and I will be right back as we will get set for the start of this live stream momentarily. All right, are we ready to rock and roll? I think we are, as we are ready to get this one set up and underway. Friends, welcome to Dolynny TV. I'm Tyson as we get set for the beginning of this hockey game, as this is a big time game against Team USA, Canada, USA for the gold medal. It is what's coming up between these two teams in a matter of moments, as we will have the anthems and then we will get underway here in a matter of a few seconds, pretty much is what it feels like. 5:01, we're about 7 minutes away from puck drop here from the IIHF Women's World Championship for 2023. All the flags flying high atop the Brampton Arena here in Brampton, Ontario. It's hosted in Canada this year, and careful, first place Americans will called Terry, as Team USA is taken to the ice here, and we are just about set for what will be the first period of play between these two teams. And yeah, we should be close to getting things ready to rock and roll here for the gold medal game. Friends, welcome aboard. It is the IIHF Women's World Championship head-to-head comparison. 15 wins for Canada, 15 wins for the women from the United States, 12 wins for Canada in the gold medals, and 8 gold medal wins for the USA, 10 wins in Canada for Canada, and 4 wins in Canada for the USA. So Canada has a pretty good track record of winning a lot of hockey games in their home territory. So that is where we will see what we can do here tonight, as Kenzie Lalonde and Cheryl Pounder have our call for this afternoon's game. And we are just about ready to get this one underway live from Brampton here in a matter of moments, as we should be in for an absolute treat, as we usually are between these two teams. Let me tell you that much. We're going to calculate one last time the watch time, just so as I know where we're sitting and walking in. 8.68 on the hours walking into the pregame. That's not too bad at all, friends, as we are just about ready to get this one underway. My apologies. I kind of started the stream a little sooner than I think I should have, based on how much I had ready for a pregame, and of course the USA did not, or not USA, TSN did not really give me much to go off of for the pregame. I probably should have checked out the IIHF website, but hey, it is what it is. We got to this fine and dandy 5:05 marker, and we should be just about ready for some hockey here in a matter of moments between Canada and the USA. So we have the call coming up here in a matter of moments, as Canada will try and get things going, as it's Desbain in net for Canada, and obviously to the top line, Rebecca Johnston, Marie-Philippe Poulin, and Brianne Jenner out there on the top line. Brianne Jenner, 2 goals in 2022 gold medal win versus the United States, so she was the hero last time out. We'll see if that indeed ends up being the case again here. Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, though, hero every time for us, it seems, always scoring big goals for us in the red and white. So we'll see what comes of it this afternoon for the United States. Erin Frankel will be the starting goalie. Hillary Knight, Abby Rock, and Amanda Kessel on the top line for the USA, as it's the first start in the Women's World Championship game, gold game that is, for Erin Frankel. So we'll see what she features here tonight against Team Canada, as it looks like they've got the crowd intro ready to buzz and roll for this one, as Canada about to take to the ice here in a matter of moments. We'll have a pause in the action, and we'll see what ends up coming from this brief moment in the action, friends. I'll send you an ad just to make sure that's working here. Let me know if you do get an ad or don't get an ad. Let me know either way. And we should be just about set for hockey here between Canada and the USA for the gold medal at the in Canada for the Women's World Championships. And I just want to again take a quick second here. It's just running some quick background numbers. Perfect. And let's just take a look here. Bingo. Good to go. Make sure that this looks good here. And yes, indeed. Okay, perfect. We are off and running. So, friends, welcome aboard to Dolynny TV. If you're tuning in for the first time, I haven't said that as of yet, but thank you so much for being here and choosing me to watch your Canadian Women's World Championship gold medal win with. Like I said, I've got pretty good faith that the Canadian women are going to take home the gold tonight. It's just a matter of getting the job done at this point, and hopefully we do indeed get it done here against Team USA. We're close. Just about 5-ish minutes away from puck drop at the latest at this point. And then we should be ready to rock and roll here between both teams. I'm not really sure what this is an ad for right now, but got some an ad I've never seen on TV right now. It was an ad for a medication, so that makes sense. But friends, we are just rocking and rolling through the last commercial break before we get going. We should be almost ready for this Canada-USA game here in a matter of moments. And then we'll be ready to get this one going. As I am just going to, again, quickly check out. Nope, we are off commercial break just like that. Canada-USA, we're ready to rock and roll. As both teams are getting ready at their nets to get this one started. And Terry's got the 2-goal+ spread for Canada. All right, I see how this one's working. It looks like we've got 2 Canadian refs and 2 American refs for today's game. Of course, 1 linesman, 1 referee from each country. 118 goals against average, 943 save percentage this tournament for Aaron Frankel. And in net as well for Team Canada is number 35, and Renee Desmain. 123 goals against average and a 923 save percentage so far this tournament for both for the Canadian goaltender. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the American guy's name as the head coach of their team, Troy Ryan, the head coach for the Canadian women's national team right now in this Women's Worlds, as they've got the fans going on the Jumbotron right now. We've got a puck skirting towards center ice as we should be ready to rock and roll here in a few seconds time, friends, as this one set to get underway between Canada and the USA, live from Brampton, Ontario. Marie-Philippe Poulin in the face-off dot, ready to take the face-off against Hilary Knight. Canada will win it in, bang it off the boards, and goes on dumped into the zone, as I believe that's Johnston going chasing after it to the near side. The Americans look to clear it out. They will come back the other way. They're developing 2-on-1 for the one-timer. Doesn't come through, and Desbain makes the save as the one-timer just was kind of flubbed up there, and then they had to fire the wrist shot. But a good attempt there for the Americans right off the hop. Canada giving up a 2-on-1, and that one just, the shot just didn't want to settle on the stick for the American player, and that just kind of sucks right there, as it was actually Hilary Knight getting the good shot off there for Team USA. The first shot of the hockey game to begin things off. It's a 0-0 game, 17 seconds in. Couldn't figure out how to find a scoreboard for tonight's game, so my apologies, as the Americans win the face-off right off the hop here in the Canadian zone. Canada will play this one up along the boards, trying to get it out. They are battling there for it. Nurse gets it free to the middle of the ice. It's chipped down into the neutral, and that one will be once again flipped into the Canadian end as this picked up and pushed out of the zone there by the Canadians, and now back to the American blue line it goes, D to D, and then shot right back up, and then shot into the far side corner all the way to Desbain off the bounce, and it'll come around to the near side, and Canada will try and work this one out. Moving up the ice, a little pick play in the neutral zone allows Canada the blue line, but they're going to say they are offside, is Canada, at the American blue line, and we'll have a stoppage of play a minute into this hockey game. So, battle for gold, women's hockey gold medals, 12 wins for Canada at the World Championships, 5 at the Olympics, and 7 at the U18 Championships. We have been absolutely crushing it for the women's side of hockey for years now. This one's going to be turned back the other way for the Americans yet again. They've had some good chances. There's an American player down in the crease right now in front of Spain. That one will not work out for them as they had to dump it into the far side, or near side corner, sorry. And now Canada trying to lead up the near side through the neutral will bat it into the near side corner in the American end. And the USA going chasing after it in behind the net. This one now to the far side, flipped out into the neutral zone all the way length of the ice. And that will be an icing call against Team USA. So far, Team USA with the 2 good chances here to begin things. And you see here how the American player just takes it right to the net and goes hard into Despain. And that was almost a little bit of a scary collision, but thankfully not too much happening there in terms of speed as of yet. The game really not ratcheting up the intensity quite as of yet, but both teams battling for every inch of ice out there and trying their best to get something freed up right now for an opportunity on net specifically for Canada, but both teams just battling each other heavily. And this one's going to be picked up, and now a 3-on-1 back the other way for the Americans. Far side, one-timer again fails for Team USA, so Canada will retrieve and get going back the other way. They'll step across the blue line, dumping into the American end. And this one bounced in front. The shot fired, misses wide. Shot off the rebound, blocked in front. And Canada still whacking away at it and couldn't quite finish it off. And maybe one last chance at the blue line. But Canada's able to move it out of the zone and play it back down deep into the American end to Frankel. So that has been a good little start to this hockey game for Canada so far. 17:32 to go here in this first period of play. Canada's got it in their own end right now. They'll play it ahead. This one's going to be fired in by Thompson to the far side corner. Going after it are the Canadians. They can't come up with this puck, and it'll be roped back down into the Canadian blue line, where it'll just be shoved off into the blue line for the Americans, where both teams headed for a line change. Now flipped back into the Canadian end, picked up there, reversed, and now fired around the near side boards for the Canadians to try and make a breakout play. They do right into the middle of the ice, and this one will be shot in for another Canadian line change right there, as it looks like we've got security standing in the way for some reason. Maybe a seat mix up here, and the Canadians offside as they had set up a beautiful 2-on-1, but unfortunately it is a Canadian player falling offside. I believe Sarah Nurse at the line. You see that that 3-on-1 there for the Americans almost turned into disaster, but another puck that just didn't want to settle down for the Americans, and it ended up flipping up. So now coming back into the offensive zone are the Canadians, battling along the near side boards as this one continues to work along the boards there. Sarah Nurse working it in, takes a heavy shot into the boards, but unable to keep the puck alive, and it'll come all the way length of the ice into the Canadian end. First one there is an American player, but it will be an icing call by the looks of it, as we will have a face-off down the ice towards the American end. 16:25 to go here in a scoreless first period so far, friends. If you're watching right now, haven't left a like, I'd appreciate that, as we will have a face-off for Turnbull here to the left of Frankel in the American net. 16:25 to go, like I said. This one, just both teams looking to try and get something going here early on in this one. USA's had 2 great one-time opportunities that they haven't been able to connect on. So we'll see if that indeed ends up being a trend here, as the Americans again walk across the blue line. They're going to set the pick play, shot to the middle, fired wide. Now they'll play this one back down low, and now the Canadians will turn it back into possession and start skating out is Thompson. Thompson up, and she will get it up to the near side boards. This one's going to go around behind the net, and now Canada will play this to the middle. There's a shot blocked in front on Turnbull, and this one will be fired back in the middle of the ice. There's an American player waiting for it. She's offside, so the Canadians will pick it up, and looks like we will have a stoppage in play here with 15:51 to go in this first period. So both teams battling it out on the ice so far through the first 4-ish minutes of this hockey game. It was an offside at the Canadian blue line, so we'll have a face-off just to the bench side there for the Canadians on the far side outside of their blue line. They win the face-off, flip it down the length of the ice into USA territory. This one will be flipped around and played ahead, and the Americans now looking to push towards the net. They'll backhand on to Spain, and it goes in the back of the net. Or no? Did it? I think Despain made the save. That is about as awkward of a bounce as I have seen. Just kind of bit Despain up in the glove area and almost ended up going in the back of the net, chuckling about it. But that was a dangerous looking opportunity, as that was a backhander up off of Despain's back that skirts all the way through the blue paint and just goes wide of the back of the net. Wow, that hit the post and then landed between her pads. That is some kind of save right there, as that is just about as scary as you can get to start this one. The Americans come that close to scoring the first goal of the gold medal game, and now all of a sudden Turnbull turning it back the other way. Now the Canadians on a mini break, shot fired, save made by Frankel. And with 15-17 to go, Canada gets their first shot of the gold medal game. This one's fired back down the length of the ice. And it'll be all the way in behind the Canadian net. This one battled there for a second, but it will be an icing call by the looks of it. And oh boy. Talk about starting the game interesting, as that was another good opportunity for Canada to get the puck across the blue line. That time they connected and got the job done. And this one will be a chance now for a face-off to the left of Frankel here. Drawn in his Rourke and the face-off. One back by Canada. The shot fired towards the net. Couldn't get it going. And now back the other way. The Americans are going to bust through. And, oh, no, couldn't quite push through the two defenders for Canada. And now Canada retrieves the puck here. Sarah Nurse got it for Team Canada. She'll flip it up the ice. Over bounces one of the Canadian skaters. And now all of a sudden trouble in the zone for the Americans. And this is going to lead to a pass to the middle. And it hops off an American stick. And both teams just having problems settling the puck down here early. And then we will have an offside once again at the Canadian blue line. Shots are 2-1 so far, 14:35 to go here in this first period of play. And this was just a great battle there for Hillary Knight. She tried to fight through two Canadian defenders, but did a good job, did we, stopping them right there. So 14:35 to go here in this first period of play. One back all the way to Despain. She'll play the puck off to her defender and now worked ahead there and down the length of the ice into the American zone. 14:25 to go here in this first period of play. Puck comes back high. This one will be shot on, save made, and tied up in the middle. And now the Americans trying to come free with this puck. Canada able to come up with it, and it looks like we are going to have a stoppage in play. And not sure what the penalty is there, as it looks like it's against the Americans. Penalty in this one. And Canada will get to the power play for the first time here, as it looks like, I don't know where the penalty is right now, as I'm waiting for it, but they're going to show the opportunity. They shot on net, and then oh, okay, that's a hook, I think is what the call is right there. Sorry, I thought there was just a little bit of a battle. Yeah, hooking call against Skamura. This one's going to be fired down the length of the ice by the Americans for a clear to start this power play for Team Canada. 14:07 to go here in this first period of play. Canada will start out from behind their own net and get into the neutral zone and now work ahead. So this one's going to be fired around to the near side boards. Canada cuts it off there and fires it to the middle off of body, and this one's going to be cleared out of the zone, and that should be a penalty against the Americans as well for puck over glass, and that should equal a minute 36 two-man advantage for Team Canada. That was a tough clear there, as that one just flipped up for the American defender and fired it right up into the third row off the glass, and that's tough. Team USA was already down a player and now down two. Eden will go off for delay of game, and here's Canada setting up the 5-on-3 right here, right now, as they get it to the near side dot. Now high in the blue line, the shot comes, scores! Just like that, Team Canada puts it home, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Marie-Philippe Poulin scoring on the one-timer there for Canada. Captain Canada scoring a big-time goal to get things started. Of course she would. That is just the way these things seem to go for her, as she continues to show up in the big stages for us. And this one just across on the one-timer, fires it home, no doubt about it. Marie-Philippe Poulin continues to score for Canada, and Ambrose with the assist. The goal there just beats Frankel, And excited about that one. Pointing to a great pass from Ambrose, and that will be the first goal in this one, my friends, as Canada is on the board to get things started. 13:37 to go here in this first period of play. And Canada has lit up the lamp already once, and we look to do that a couple more times here the rest of the way home. Still a minute 40 left on the man advantage here for Canada as they will get started. Thompson across and over to the far side, now leading in as she'll bat it back to the blue line here, and Canada will get the opportunity towards the net here. Poulin trying to battle this one as it comes out in the middle of the ice. Hillary Knight, I think that's Hillary Knight, not sure, trying to come away with that puck, couldn't do it. And this one will be fired back into the American end as Canada's still on the power play. Shorthand side, looking for a chance, couldn't get it going on the short side there. Was Canada firing it off the side of the net. Would have been nice to score that one almost immediately as well. As here cut in the middle of the ice, Fillier. She'll cut down and fire the shot into the glove of Frankel. And we'll have a stoppage in play with 12:47 to go here in this first period of play. This one will be a great little opportunity off the side of the net. That could have been good. This one just a big time glove save there for Frankel. The Canadians win the face-off right away. Poulin gets it over, and now this one will be cut off at the blue line, and this one worked back to Poulin here at the blue line near side as she'll look to go across the ice, looking to make a pass back to the blue line now. Ambrose will look to shoot this puck. She will now, tipped in front, almost went back in the net to boot. Just couldn't get it through the whole way, and we've got 12:20 remaining here in this first period of play. Poulin out there playing it with Ambrose along the near side boards at almost the American blue line as they retrieve it, fire it, knocked down, turned over, shot comes, Frankel the save, and that was a crazy little sequence that almost ended up in the back of the net against the Americans as they failed to clear. And this one will come down the length of the ice all the way to Despain, who plays it off, and the Canadians almost back to even strength here with the Americans as Turnbull will lead in, and now it's 5-on-5 once again as this one will come around the far side boards back to the blue line. Now near side blue line, Larocque will fire the fake shot and then fire the shot from a sharp angle and almost find the back of the net. Could have been a dangerous looking opportunity had there been a stick in front to tip that one through. 11:30 to go here in this first period of play. As the Americans lead ahead, that one is shoveled off the side of the net and now to the near side boards as they continue to battle, as this one will come around a little bit here. And it's all good, Epiphany. Yeah, there's no scoreboard because TSN scoreboard is all kinds of screwy right now and won't let me seem to copy it for some reason. 11:03 to go here in this first period of play as the Americans will work it off the boards in the Canadian end. They're looking to fire this shot. It goes up over top of the net and bounces off the backboard. A 1-0 lead for Canada with the shot 6-2 here early on. Canada was getting at one point outshot 2-0, so they've come back roaring with the goal and 6 straight shots here midway through this first period as Despain plays it off to the near far side boards. And this one will come to the near side now off of the board bounce pass and all the way down length into the Canadian zone. 10:23 to go. Big body checks there along the boards. And that's something I definitely didn't get to see too much of in Cold Lake when I was calling the U18 females there. Is they did a pretty good job making sure that the rule book was called, and that was some heavy collisions in behind the Canadian net as this one will be now in Canadian possession. Back up and worked out, and that's another chance there for the Americans on a turnover to get it back into the Canadian end. The shot saved, fired, and then Hughes takes it right to the net, and all of a sudden a little bit pushing and shoving here as Poulin gets in there with Hughes and says, no, not on my watch, and knocks her over the crease. So we are crushing along here on the stream, my friends. Just to give you an idea of where we're at. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go the full way because I do have to cook my own dinner tonight, so I think we're just going to get through this first period of play, and then I will go in upstairs and cook my own dinner. But as we're going, 478 times 2.4. Oh, no, 578. 480. Oh my goodness, I can't type here, friends. Times 2.4 divided by 60. We're already at 19 hours and 56 ticks on the live stream. Thank you so much for being aboard here on Dolynny TV. Like I said, this live stream would have been much easier if obviously the TSN website would have put out the lines and stuff, but unfortunately they didn't. So we didn't have a chance to catch that pregame. We're waiting for this to load up here, and now I should be able to see this. As the box score, shots, PIMs, highlights, preview, still nothing. So I don't know where to find the, yeah, they've got absolutely nothing fired up here on the boards. That is, okay, whatever, I guess it is what it is. But that is where we are at, and Gillis TV, welcome in. And that was 2 big hits in behind the Canadian net. And now the USA wins the face-off. Canada able to push it back into control before the US throws it off the boards and is able to get it back behind the Canadian net. This one played to the far side boards in behind the Canadian goal line. They continue to tie it up there. So this one will be worked to the middle of the ice. Can't get it going. So this one's going to be worked to the near side boards. Now again across. 9:27 to go here in this first period of play. Tipped in and down into the Canadian end. 9:20 remaining as the Americans got 2 shots on that sequence. So they've started firing up pucks on net here in the past few moments. As like I said, the Canadians had a run of 6 straight shots. So this is going to come to the middle of the ice. What a save by Dolynny! Oh my goodness, sprawling out to fall on top of that one and deny the backdoor shot, I believe, for Amanda Kessel. That was an absolute unreal stop right there. Wow, that was fantastic. As the Americans had her wide open, and that one, a good defensive play there as well by Fast. But then Desbain able to come across, make the save on the redirect, and then fall on top of it for the freeze. That's a huge save. Don't forget about that one later on in this game. Coming back the other way, though, is Canada. Across the blue line, this one's flipped up, and now with 8:57 to go, it'll be fired down the boards. Canada will chop it back in, but it'll hit the player who's inside the zone, so that will be an offside at the Canadian blue line, unfortunately. And the Team USA fans out there in the parking lot, and of course it looks like it's a gorgeous day in Ontario and Brampton today. Obviously, I think they've been experiencing 20 degrees all week, so I imagine they've been having some fun out there in the outdoor activities, and especially 90 minutes before puck drop, as shown on TSN here a moment ago. 8:44 to go here in this first period of play. The Americans will work it out of their zone. This one bounced there at the neutral zone bench area. Now Canada trying to turn and burn back the other way. Just about had it, but couldn't get it on the backhand, unfortunately. And now this one will be worked back into the American zone by the Canadians. Picked up there, middle of the ice by Poulin. Good pass to the middle, just couldn't find the streaking winger, and that just about worked out for Team Canada. Nice spin and fire by Poulin down to the near side. Johnston out there, she'll fire a pass back to Poulin. Can't get it to the middle enough to let her score a shot on net, and that one will be chopped out of play. So we'll have a stoppage in play from Zandy Hart. She chopped it up into the stands, and there's a sign reading, "Thank you to the kind strangers who gave us these tickets this morning," as we head to commercial break, my friends. It's just like that, we're on a quick commercial break. Give myself a quick second to check this all out. And if you're new to Dolynny TV right now, friends, tuning in for the first time, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button. Obviously, you see the color theme right there, the orange, blue, and white. Well, you can guess it if you haven't been here before. A big-time Oilers fan. Would love to have you aboard for the Edmonton Oilers playoff run tomorrow, starting at 8 p.m. against the LA Kings. I'll be live about 7:45, but I would love to have you aboard for the Oilers and Kings series, and then of course the whole Oilers thing throughout the rest of the year. Some Hockey Canada stuff mixed in, right? I'm a good Canadian. I got my Canada jersey. Of course, we got to show up some national pride there as well, and our women definitely doing a good job this tournament, so I figured why not use this tournament's final game to do a little bit of double check with the stream and see what we got going on there. And just to tell you as well, if we can gain any subscribers out of this, this would be greatly appreciated. Like I'm saying, going into that obviously playoffs against the LA Kings for sure. So let me see. I can't just get this going here, sorry. And we'll see if we can rock and roll, as we're already up to 11,523. Just trying to hit 11,535 is kind of the goal for the end of the live stream. David, the score so far with 8 minutes remaining here in the first period, 1-0 between Canada and the USA. Canada forced that one off the boards but couldn't get it to the middle onto an open stick, and the Americans will come back the other way. 7:44 remains in the 1-0 lead for Canada as Larocque will battle it off the boards. And now kind of ties it up there did Canada, and Sarah Nurse is able to get it ahead and fired down deep into the American zone now by Natalie Spooner. As this one will be worked up the middle by the Americans, fired back in behind the Canadian net. Not nice and call, as it must have taken a redirect somewhere along the way, and now the Americans will fight this one back. And Canada's still trying to come up with this puck here. 7:15 to go in this first period. As both teams are working it around. They've got 6-5 the shots, so an even battle so far. It's been Marie-Philippe Poulin on the power play, one-timer for Team Canada that's gotten the lone goal in this one. Captain Canada striking early in this one to get the job done. Of course, they did have a 5-on-3 to make it happen, and they capitalized. 6:54 to go here in this first period of play between Canada and the USA. So let me see here, as this just seems to not be loading for some reason. Let me just see here if I can't get this going, and it should be good to go. And we will just exit out of that. Sorry, just having a little glitch with my phone. And there we go, perfect. My family has made it down to the vacation spot. Good to hear, good to hear. And there we go. Canada is going to start across the blue line here. 6:14 to go here in this first period of play. 1-0 for Canada early on in this one. And Canada doing so far so good early on in this one. 6:03 to go in this first period. Worked over the blue line by Canada, although the player attacking the puck lost her stick. This one's going to bounce in the middle of the ice now. Hillary Knight comes to the attack for the Americans as she'll work across the blue line. Continuing to battle there. 5:48 to go as this one will be fired in the middle of the ice, cut off by the Americans. Now back to the blue line. 5:44 as the Canadians just doing anything they can to get the puck out of the zone. They do. 5:30 remaining here in this first period of play. Worked ahead now by the Americans once again, but they are offside, so we'll have another stoppage in play here midway through this first period, as we have an ice break actually in the action. So that's where we find ourselves, friends. A 1-0 lead for Canada right now at current. And I guess realistically what I could use for you is I could use the pinned chat to give you the current score. I think we could do that, as that would actually be a pretty nifty way of doing it, I guess, with the pinned chats here tonight. As it looks like we've got an Air Canada ad on our television sets right now. If you're watching on TSN, travel rewards straight from the source, Aeroplan. And Marie-Philippe Poulin talking it over with Rebecca Johnston. She spun around looking to make that shot happen, and they're talking about the tip plays in front of the net. As that's some interesting action there, as they're just practicing tip drills in the pregame warm-up. Hardest shots in the preliminary round, Marie-Philippe Poulin, 80.8 miles per hour in the preliminary round. I'm sure we'll see that beat here sometime soon in this gold medal of the game. I almost guarantee we'll see that beat in this gold medal of the game at some point. And everybody rocking and rolling in the stands. A lot of red and white in the stands for Team Canada in Brampton, Ontario today. 5:27 to go here in this first period of play. Shots fired in by the Americans around the boards and now picked up by Canada. Worked out back the other way, flipped into the middle of the ice, and that will be the Americans turning it over there, as Canada will be able to rip it down the boards, but not hard, and that allows them on the turnover to pick it up back the other way. 3-on-2, 3-on-3 situation. Shot fired, save made by the American goalkeeper. Now back to the blue line, picked up by Larocque. She'll dish off. Puck bounces off the boards awkwardly and now comes back into the middle of the ice, and Canada will be content to fire it down onto Frankel. We'll have to play off this puck, and Turnbull right to the puck almost immediately, but couldn't come up with it. And now back to the blue line again, where the lines person gets in the way there, and this one will continue to get going. And the shot fired towards the near side corner. This one worked back and into the American zone. 4:28 to go here in this first period of play. Just to the near side now, Rattray. Shot fired, save off of Poulin by Frankel. Poulin will continue to fire this one in the middle. Can't get it over to Jenner. Jenner's looking for the puck in front. The shot fired around behind the net. Now to the middle again. Jenner picks this one up off the redirect. Shot fired again, and here's Canada absolutely pressing for this one. Nobody really knew where that puck was. Now a nice play across to keep it in the zone. Battles off the boards, and Poulin still has the puck. Another tip in front there over to the near side, as this one will come into the near side. The shot fired off the side of the net there by Zandy Hart. And this one comes in behind the American net now as they continue to battle, and it will stick off of an American stick, and the Canadians almost able to keep that one alive for another few seconds. Unfortunately unable to there, and this one will be fired down to Desbain with 3:24 to go here in this first period. It's been a long time since I had to call a television game where I wasn't very familiar with all the players on the ice, and I think it's showing, but appreciate you guys sticking it out with me here today, as this is just a good little, I wanted to make sure everything was working before the playoffs tomorrow. Obviously things have been working well all across the other streams, but not streaming for the past few days. Just wanted to double check. And that will be an offside at the Canadian blue line with exactly 3 minutes to go here in this one. And let me see what we can do here, as I'm just going to check. No, why isn't it letting me in? There we go. As we're going to go that times that, divided by that, rock and roll. And with 3 minutes to go here in the first period of play, the puck will be won by the Americans, flipped into the Canadian end in the near side corner. This one picked up now by Canada. They're knocked off the puck by the Americans, and now back to the blue line. The shot fired directs in front to the near side corner, and the Americans will once again push it in behind the net as they continue to battle along the end boards. Larocque in there battling for that puck, and now a chance for the Americans to come away with it, but the Canadians able to push it ahead, and pushing ahead in full force are the Canadians, as they had a 4 skater wide attack and couldn't get it going, as this one comes back to the blue line and now picked up by the Canadians once again. This one's going to be picked up there for a brief moment by Canada in the American zone. Knocked down though, and it comes free again. Here's Canada on the attack yet again, but the Americans get back just in the brief second of time coming up with that one, and now a chance for the Americans. Drag shot, scores! Oh my goodness, what a beautiful toe drag release right there by the Americans to tie this game at 1 apiece. That was absolutely next level. Going, dragging around the defender and then releasing it on Desbain. Is this one a good chance at one end, leads to a good chance at the other, and this one just an unreal finish right there for the American attackers. The toe drag, release, and scores. That was a beauty of a goal. I think that's Murphy, if I'm not mistaken. Is the name on the back of the jersey there? Because that was an unreal goal. Dragging around Ambrose and firing it home, that's for sure. So we are just about up and done this first period, but the Americans had to score to make sure we weren't going into the intermission too comfortable. Now we'll have 1:59 to go here in this first period, and a face-off at center ice. This one won by the Americans, fired back into the Canadian zone. Desbain out to play it. Abby Murphy scores her 5th goal of the tournament, turned back here, and Carpenter gets the assist on that goal. $1:45 to go in the first period of play. Canada will fire it to the far side wing. Now picked up to the near side wing and battled back out as it'll come into the neutral zone yet again. This one picked up for a second by the Americans. They try to turn and burn back the other way, and they will. Minute 28 to go. They find an open skater as this one comes free, and the shot fired towards the middle of the ice, jammed up there by Canada, and worked back the other way as Poulin will carry ahead and knock this one in to the American end. This one worked back there. $1:12 to go in this first period of play as this will be worked into the American zone. Canada will fire this one around the boards into the high point. This one now cut off there and thrown in the middle of the ice. 57 seconds remaining here in this first period of play. This one will be knocked back into the Canadian zone in behind the net, and this one now for Canada in possession up the middle of the ice, knocked off a couple of sticks and back the other way it comes, as that was just a skater losing her stick there, and this will be an offside call against Thompson, who tried her best to keep that one onside and push it ahead, but ultimately lost her stick and threw herself offside in the midst of all of that. So that's where we find ourselves right now with just under 40 seconds remaining here in this first period of play. 37.4 to be precise. Hilary Knight on the left wing taking the face off here for Team USA is Rogue. And with 37.4 seconds to go, the face-off's down, tied up there. And this one going here, one back now for Canada. Dakota, welcome in. Glad to have you along as we're just about to wrap up this live stream actually, as I am starving out and unfortunately roommates are away, so that means I'm cooking dinner tonight for myself. So yeah, right. Oiler game nights, I usually get away with not having to cook, but unfortunately tonight I do indeed got to cook, and with a 5 p.m. puck drop, that kind of makes things difficult when you're not coming from Airdrie and able to grab something on the drive home. So friends, that will do it here in this first period between Canada and the USA, tied at 1 apiece. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's live stream. Wish I could go longer. Like I said, I got to cook. I got to make sure I get something ready for lunch tomorrow, and then we will head off to Canada, USA, finishing off this game. I'll come back down and watch the rest of it, don't you worry. But then Kings, Oilers tomorrow night. Thank you.